Hey guys, welcome back to Hook with Anime. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Let's begin.
Chapter 1. I have the power of what now? What if in the many eons since the Pokemon once roamed the lands, and all but the ancient Pokemon survived the cataclysm caused as the Utsutsuki ravaged the regions in their rampage, and changed the very landscape with each clash against the creatures that called it their home?
Within the sundering of the Pokemon world as they knew it and seeing its children die more and more each day, Arceus had created 18 plates to help keep the spirit, power, strength and perhaps memory of his creations alive before scattering them across the known world. So as such, with the power of Pokemon scattered across the newly changed world, and the age of Shinobi replacing the once vibrant world of Pokemon, the god of Pokemon now awaits the one person who will continue the legacy and greatness of his creations. March 24, 997 SE, 3:28 p.m., Konoha, Senju Park. It was a sunny March afternoon as Naruto was taking a hike through Senju Park, having found this to be one of the rare places to clear his head and be alone from his dickhead siblings. However, it was through his hike that he saw something that caught his eye, which looked to be a worn wooden temple that still looked sturdy and well put together despite its decrepit appearance. Well, I guess it can't hurt to see what this is all about. Who knows, maybe I'll find some cool bullshit in there, Naruto said to himself as he decided to venture into the worn-out-looking temple. So with that in mind, he eventually ventured forth into the temple, as it didn't take much effort to open the heavy wood and brass door that swung to the side with an audible creaking sound as he continued to enter into it while the floorboards groaned from the unfamiliar weight of someone's entrance. The blonde in question, who walked in further and further into the modestly sized temple that was lit up only by the vibrant rays of the March sun, had taken out a flashlight and turned it on just to be safe as he went forward to venture its depths. The blonde teenager looked throughout the rooms of the temple to find that for the most part they were barren save for stone carvings and portraits of creatures and animals that he couldn't recall, and made the tailed beasts he'd heard of look tame by design. But despite these portraits and carvings that to Naruto looked awesome as all hell, there was nothing else of value in those rooms, and as such continued to venture forth into the temple's depths to see what else lay within. After minutes on top of minutes of searching and exploring the depths of what Naruto figured could make for a pretty cool getaway spot with some sprucing up, eventually came across a room that caught and piqued his interest. That being that the door had what looked like weird lettering on it that looked similar to what was used on seals except for more archaic in design and almost seemed to have eyes that were watching him. As he touched the door, he felt an odd shiver rush through his body, as though someone had thrown cold saltwater and lye on him. Even still, as he shook off the odd shiver that ran through his very being, he opened the door to see a large room that looked more well kept than the temple, the walls, ceiling and floors made of polished maple that was inlaid with gold and brass. That looked as new as the day it was built. Yet what caught his attention was the large, nearly 12-foot-tall statue akin to a Kirin made of silver and moonstone, except it had a golden cross-like wheel around its midsection and mane jutting back from its skull that flared outwards like an ethereal flame of some sort. I guess if you're the only thing in this place that doesn't look worn down or busted up, then you gotta have something pretty cool, Naruto said to himself as he went over to the statue to look it over. Except for your eyes and those weird whatever those things are on that thing around your guts is, Naruto said in regards to the misplaced way the statue's eyes were and the plate-like gems on the wheel were crooked. So, Naruto figured that it wouldn't hurt to mess around with the statue and set it right as it should be. With him having to jump up to being on top of the statue's midsection so he could reach the plates on the top, and shift them a full 210 degrees to get them to lock in place, before he jumped down and began shifting the bottom plates 150 degrees to the left for them to the same. Once that was done, he then went over to the eyes of the statue, which again due to its height he had to clamber upon its skull and get to work, with him having to turn the left eye 90 degrees to the right before pushing it inwards, and having to shift the right eye 120 degrees in the opposite direction and press it into the creature's skull. Once that was done, the entire statue itself began to shift and vibrate with what sounded like flesh, gears and bone shifting and aligning into place, as the statue's eyes itself seemed to lock onto him as it began to flash through a multitude of colors. All before the plates that were on the wheel-like ring on its abdomen and the plates that comprised both its eyes flew outwards and hovered into the air, with them changing as the one that comprised his left eye became a fiery red with a flame symbol, The one that comprised its right eye was an orangish-brown that had a clenched fist. The other 4 began to morph as well, with them turning into a venomous purple with a skull and crossbones, a golden yellow one with a lightning bolt, a blank silver one, and lastly a magenta one with an eye upon its surface. With all 6 plates then blasted Naruto with beams of power that struck him in the skull, heart, arms, stomach and legs, as the teenager in question, causing his very being to feel as though it were being stretched and warped before suddenly pushed out of his body, as though a giant and punched him in the liver so hard it felt like his insides would burst. Moments that bled into what felt like hours passed before Naruto found himself floating within a multicolored void where his state of being from what he'd seen continued to shift, twist and warble, as though he were on some high-grade acid trip. Yet what caught his attention was the glowing silhouette of the statue, except that it was now 10 times its size and stared at him with glowing red eyes. I have not much time, young one. So listen closely. My name is Arceus, the former god of all Pokémon, and I have chosen you to be the inheritor of mine and my creation's strength. The now named Arceus told him. Okay, for one, it's pretty cool that you chose me to be given your powers and all that, but why me and what the hell is even going on? Also, is whatever you're gonna give me, used chakra? Because thanks to some stuff that happened because some bastard fox attacked my home, I can't really use chakra, right? Sorry if it seems like I'm rambling, there is just so many questions, and I again don't know what the UCK is going on here, Naruto asked in rapid succession as he tried to wrap his mind around what was going on. None of what you will receive, or shall continue to receive, shall require the use of this chakra of yours. If anything, what you will be able to call upon shall stand with the legendary creatures that I had once called my eldest children, eventually giving you the power to become a living cataclysm. Arceus informed an understandably flabbergasted Naruto. Holy shit, that sounds epic, was Naruto's only reply. Indeed, young one. Now then, with what I have already gifted to you, I must inform you that there are other plates like the ones you have now found. Ones that will give you access to, and further increase your power. These plates are scattered across the lands that were once mine and my creation's home. Arceus told him. Wait a minute. How in the hell will I find these other plates, and why did I get chosen for all this stuff? Naruto asked. On the matter of the plates, you will sense their location in due time. As for why I chose you, I will tell you why at a later date. For now, I must go. The time I have given has ran out. So until we meet again, I wish you luck as the inheritor and carrier of my legacy and gifts. Arceus told him. Wait, what? Naruto said before the world around him seemed to collapse in on itself and shunt him back into the waking world. For not even a millisecond passed before Naruto sat bolt right up, gasping for breath as his lung felt like they were burning and filled with acid, and his skin burning and prickling as small arcs of lightning and bursts of flame arced off and burst to life around his body, as he stood up on wobbly legs from the experience. His muscles aching as though he'd ran a 10K marathon with Rock Lee and Might Guy, while his head throbbed with what could only be described as a migraine from hell, as he stumbled and staggered out of the temple with the grace of a blackout drunk. Yet as his entire being felt as though it were used by his cousins as an overgrown punching bag, as he stepped into a quickly darkening evening, there was only one singular thought that was present in his aching body and mind. Other than getting superpowers, what the hell did I get myself into? Naruto wondered as he continued to stumble and stagger his way back to the village. 2 days later, March 26, 997 SE, Uchiha Compound, 1, 35 petameters. It was the following Sunday as Naruto was hanging out with Sasuke and Sakura at the Uchiha compound, as he figured that if he could trust anyone with the information of his newfound superpowers, it was his 2 actual closest friends. So what, you got god powers now? Sakura asked. Pretty much, Sakura. I mean, how else do you explain this? Naruto answered back as he summoned small bolts of lightning to arc between his fingers. And you're sure that none of this uses chakra, at all? Sakura asked again. Yup. Hell, Sasuke's Sharingan can see if I'm using chakra, Naruto said, with Sasuke using his incomplete Sharingan to scan the lightning. He's right. I don't know how he's doing it, but I can't sense any trace of chakra at all. Sasuke spoke as his Sharingan to no avail couldn't pick up any trace of chakra. This is great news, Naruto. Now you don't have to struggle so hard in the academy anymore. I mean, with your god powers, you can walk over almost everyone there. Sakura said happily that Naruto had something he could count on to even the playing field. Not really, Sakura. If anything, I have to work 10 times harder than I was before, Naruto replied. But why though? I mean, if you got these powers from a literal god, then you should be able to do what my cousins do to most people, and trample over just about anyone, Sakura said back. Well, that's precisely the reason why I need to work that much harder. Because I don't have a clan with busted power-ups like your dad's side of the family, or Sasuke's whole clan. Which means that since I have these powers from my new patron, I gotta get to work and then some, if I actually want to get good with them, Naruto told the pink-haired girl beside him. Is there anything that either of us can do to help you? Sasuke questioned in wondering what could needed from them. Well, I'm gonna need training partners to help me field test what I can do. So if you guys are up for it, then I'd love your help in figuring this stuff out. Because, other than some of what I got put into my noggin about how this stuff works, then I have no one else to really help me out, Naruto answered back. Compared to having to train with my cousins, helping you with your superpowers shouldn't be too much a challenge, I think, Sakura said. We've been friends since we were 5 years old, and with you being the brother I've never had, I see no reason why I wouldn't help you out when you need it. Sasuke spoke in not seeing a reason why he shouldn't help his pseudo-brother in Naruto. Thanks, you guys, I really appreciate it, Naruto said to the two of them. No problem, Naruto. But this does bring me to my next question. Sasuke spoke whilst Naruto stopped playing with the lightning in his hands. What is it? Naruto asked. Other than lightning, what other capabilities do you possess? Sasuke questioned. Let's see. Other than lightning type attacks as they're called, I can perform normal type attacks, fire type ones, poison ones, fighting type ones, and psychic type ones. From what I remember getting zapped into my noggin, Naruto informed the Uchiha. I get the other ones and all, but what do normal type moves do? Sakura questioned. I honestly dunno. I just have a vague idea of what they can do, so until we test them out for real, I won't really know till I try. Naruto answered back in not knowing what his normal type move could do in practice quite yet. Well, look at it this way. We've got from now till next year, to help you get with your new powers. So until then, I say we train as hard as possible and get you to be a top-tier menace, Sakura said with a determined grin to get her longtime friend as strong as possible. Whatever we have to do to make me stand on even footing with my dickhead brother and sister, I'm ready for. All I really want is my chance to prove that just because they're the chosen ones, I'm just as every bit of good as they are, Naruto replied in only wanting that one single chance to prove himself. If anything, you are better than them, by a significant mile. Because I would rather share my company with you, rather than spend a minute with them, Sasuke told Naruto. Same here, your sister is a total mega bitch. I swear if it wasn't for our plan to make sure we get on the same genin team, then I'd flatten her every single time we do taijutsu spars in class, Sakura said with the utmost confidence in her taijutsu. Sakura, I get that you train with your cousins, who come from a clan of super assassins, but my sister and my brother have been trained since they were little by my mom, Pervy Sage and Kakashi, so I'd say good ducking luck to you, Naruto said back to her. With Naruto knowing for a definite fact, that if it wasn't for their plan to hold back so they could make it onto the same genin squad with each other, then Sakura would be one of the top contenders for the best at close quarters. Even still, despite her training with her mother's side of the family who were nothing short of top-tier menaces to society in his eyes, that his sister and brother weren't anything to snub your nose at. Oh, I already know about her. That's is why once we graduate, I can't wait to do to her dirty like my cousin Ryan does to everyone. Man, he's awesome, Sakura said in admiration of Ryan's might. Sakura, I say this as your friend, but that man is a ducking psycho. In fact, if there's anyone that I'd have reason to be scared of, it's him, Naruto responded, knowing how much a powerhouse battle maniac her cousin Ryan was. I have to agree with Naruto in that regard. The man is almost as bad as Obito is when it comes to fighting, except, without him being a hyper-violent psychopath, Sasuke responded. Hey, it's not my fault that we love to fight. It just so happens that we were literally bred to be natural-born killers, Ryan is just one of the most prominent examples of what we're like. Well, next to great-grandpa and cousin Korora. Sakura pointed out. I swear once I get my headband, and make Chunin, then I can actually go on the real big jobs with them. Finally, I'll get to be a real deal assassin. Sakura added. Hey, I'm just trying to get mine, so I can use my new powers to prove how much a badass I am. That's all I really want out of this. Naruto replied on his desires. The only thing that I want is to make it to a high enough rank to bring glory to my clan. Otherwise, there isn't much else that I want to do than that. Sasuke said with a look of focused resolve. Then it looks like we've got a lot of work ahead of us for next year at the academy, and again when we make Genin, but considering how strong we all are, without holding back, then I say we got a pretty good chance at running shit when we get our headbands. Naruto said in high spirits. Well, until then, you guys wanna grab a bite to eat and then get stoned? My cousin Henzo got me some good stuff. Sakura asked the two. I am more than fine with getting lunch with you two, but I will have to decline the weed. My father would have my hide. Sasuke told Sakura in regards to his father having a strict anti-drug policy in the household. I'm fine with getting baked with you, Sakura. Unlike Sasuke, I don't really give a shit if my folks get pissy with me over it. They already kicked me out of the running for being a clan heir, and all the shit that comes with it. On top of pretty much phasing me out for not being able to really use chakra, so at this point what else are they gonna do? Naruto nonchalantly replied. Then it's settled, you guys, it's ramen on me, Sakura said to both of them. Sweet, I'm getting chicken and shrimp ramen, Naruto exclaimed as he started to run alongside her. I'll stick with pork this time around. That grilled beef ramen didn't agree with me last time. Sasuke spoke as the two headed to Ichiraku's for ramen. 3 days later, Haruno household, March 29, 997 SE, 4:28 p.m. It was a few days later as after getting out of classes for the day, Naruto and Sakura were doing one of their favorite pastimes, which was their regular heated sparring matches, as they would have included Sasuke in them as usual, but the Uchiha was busy with babysitting his niece. I'll give you this much, Naruto. Whatever you got going on smarts like hell, Sakura said as she wiped a bit of blood from her nose. If you think that's good, then get a load of this, Naruto said as he rushed forwards with a quick attack. The blonde in question came through with a swift flying knee to Sakura's sternum that the pink-haired woman was able to soundly parry and quickly retaliate with a right hook kick to Naruto's temple. That was followed by a reverse roundhouse kick to the stomach. However, thanks to having used the bulk-up move from earlier on in their sparring match, he was able to tank the kick to his stomach and fire back with a mock punch that landed flush against Sakura's jaw in the form of a lightning-quick left cross. Naruto then unleashed a barrage of mock punches against a slightly disoriented Sakura, who quickly went into a high guard to block against the barrage of high-speed jabs and crosses that came at a seemingly relentless pace. However, despite the continuous stream of punches that she was forced to block, a sizable handful of which slipped past her guard and thudded against her stomach, she was soon able to counter with a right elbow to his jaw, which was followed by an uppercut to the ribs and heavy overhand right to the jaw. Sakura continued her assault with a roundhouse kick that would have landed had Naruto not used agility to increase his speed, and dodge out of the way in time before rounding back on her with a gazelle punch to the jaw. That Sakura quickly countered with a right hook to Naruto's ribs, that the blonde met in turn with a mock punch to the face. Both teenagers were driven back a good distance from the force of one another's blows, as Sakura wiped a small bit of blood from a newfound cut on her face, whilst Naruto rubbed at his sore ribs from Sakura's heavy punches that felt like getting hit by a sledgehammer. Even still, the two grinned savagely at the fun they were having in their spar against each other, seeing as how thanks to Naruto's new powers they could go at it even more ferociously than what they ever could beforehand. With the two of them readying themselves as Sakura began channeling more might for one of her family's techniques, while Naruto began using agility to boost his speed to meet her attack, Sakura's skin began to turn a faint shade of deep red violet, before the two dashed after each other at great speeds. Buddha killer, brick break, came the shouts from Sakura and Naruto as they soon met each other in the middle. Sakura's attack caught Naruto clean across the face as her elbow slashed him across the cheek, and left a decently sized gash across it, Whilst Naruto was able to crouch down and drive his brick break into Sakura's liver, the two attacks clashed violently and generated enough force to cause a minor shockwave of power that caused the ground beneath them to warp, splinter and leave a minor crater as both staggered back from the sheer force.
However, Naruto was quick to recover and rush forward with a combination of punches, elbows, and knees towards Sakura, who, thanks to Naruto's amped-up speed, was forced into a counter-offensive against him. With every punch, elbow, knee landed or blocked by Sakura was met in retaliation with a thunderous low kick to Naruto's calves or an elbow to the face, as the two clashed in a frenzied exchange of blows against the other as neither refused to retreat or take a step back from the other.
Yet despite their exchange, as neither one of the teens refused to give an inch against the other, Naruto used a quick bulk up as he was socked in the face by Sakura, landing a clean high kick to his face. Before he fainted with an uppercut to her jaw, before unleashing a heavy-handed thunder punch to her stomach. The combination brute force and electrical energy that electrocuted her to where her clothes began to smoke sent her skidding back 10 feet, wherein Naruto was quick to leap up, grab Sakura by her torso and powerbomb her into the ground, hard enough that her body bounced up from the impact. All the while Naruto started raining down punches from atop her as though he were a starving wolf before its downed prey. Yet Sakura did not make the endeavor of pummeling her an easy one, as she was not only able to shell up and defend against the onslaught, but she was also able to maneuver out of the way and return with a hook to the jaw or a piston-like cross to the ribs. Yet with both sides trading hard shots against the other as bruises and welts began to form on their faces, until Sakura barely dodged out of a brick break and landed a throat punch against the blonde, causing him to fall back from the feeling of his throat being hit with a crowbar. Something that Sakura took advantage of by smashing her head against Naruto's to fully knock him off of her, and proceed to leap on top of him and grab him in a rear naked chokehold. Her arms wrapping around his neck like a boa constrictor as she seized every moment that he was coughing and sputtering to deepen the hold. So much so that by the time Naruto regained his bearings, Sakura had deepened it to the point where he was struggling to get her off of him while not suffocating as she cut off his air supply. Yet the more he struggled to get her off of him, the more she clamped down his neck as though her arms were the jaws of a hungry black bear. Either tap out now, or get choked out like a bitch, Naruto. Your call. Sakura said as she emphasized her point by tightening it further and get a choked gasp from the blonde. Ow. Right, I give, holy duck are too good at these, Sakura. Naruto choked out as she continued her hold over him to the point he'd fallen over. No shit. Now tap out already, Sakura told him as the blonde wisely did so. I'll give you credit, Naruto. You held out pretty good, although we definitely need to work on your defense against submission holds, otherwise, you're downright ducked if someone gets a hold of you, Sakura said as she released the coughing blonde. Hopefully, I can keep them off my back with some of my ranged shit before that happens, Naruto replied. Well, if my cousins have taught anything, you don't hope for the best when you're in the shit, you grind your teeth and knuckle up for the worst, Sakura said back. I mean, to be fair, Sakura. Your cousins are basically a family full of super assassins and hitmen for whoever the hell wants them. So of course they can say that. Naruto spoke. Doesn't matter, Naruto. Bottom line is that even though you've gotten a pretty big boost from your powers, you gotta tighten up some of your shit. Although, I will give you credit for making me have to use my removal at 16%, so that's a win, Sakura said, knowing that Naruto's max beforehand was her going at 10% before she overwhelmed him. Hey, I will take any win I can get right now, Naruto responded as he sat up whilst his sore body ached from their encounter. That's fair. Anyways, you want to go in and eat something? My mom left us snacks before she had to go on a job, Sakura offered to the superpowered blonde. That is a hell yes from me. I'm sore, hungry, and worn out, so say less. Naruto spoke as he and Sakura from there headed inside for snacks and respite. 2 days later, Senju Estate, March 31st, 997 SE, 3, 25 petameters. It was the following Friday as Naruto was visiting with his grandpa Dan after classes at the academy had ended, as he would have done so with Granny Tsunade, but given her position as head of the hospital in the village, her time wasn't as freed up as she'd love. Thanks again for letting me come over after classes, Grandpa. Naruto thanked the elder Senju. Not a problem at all. After all, you're like family, and I'm always happy to have you here, Dan told the superpowered blonde. Also, between you and me, you give me far fewer gray hairs than my daughter, Dan added. Well, she is one of the most dangerous women in the village. So can you really expect her to act like anything less of an absolute menace? Because considering how absolutely busted she is, I'd act like I can do whatever I want as well, Naruto said back in knowing full well of what kind of a powerhouse his cousin was. You do not need to remind me of how strong she is, while I am more than proud of her for having become an exceptionally powerful warrior. That it also comes with the price of her being rather prideful of herself, as well, Dan spoke. As while Dan and Tsunade were incredibly proud of their children and what they were able to accomplish as powerful shinobi of the village, they were also very much aware of their daughter's incredibly prideful nature, which, while it was more than understandable due to her immense strength, it also was complete hell to deal with at times as she got older. I'd be acting like I'm king of the world if I was as strong as Kazushi, because, if anything, I'm pretty sure she's more than enough for someone like Kakashi or Obito. Heck, I'm pretty sure she could go blow for blow against Pervy Sage if she really wanted to, Naruto said in regards to his cousin's incredible amount of power. At least I'm not as strong as she is yet, Naruto said to himself. I honestly wouldn't put it past her to stand a chance against Jiraiya. While the man is one of the village's most powerful shinobi, second to your father of course, I feel pretty confident that she would be able to beat him in a fight, Dan replied in complete faith of his daughter's combative abilities. Even with his weird sage powers? Naruto asked back. Even with his sage mode that the toads gift him with. He may be powerful, but even he would have a difficult time against my daughter, Dan said in a combination of fatherly faith and combative understanding of his daughter's prowess. Well, damn, I swear it's weird to consider when people are stronger than you, Dad, Grandma, or even Pervy Sage, Naruto said as he looked toward the retired Jonin. While I appreciate you thinking so highly of me, even after almost 3 years of inaction, I must remind you that our village are not the only big players in the world, Dan told him. We have to remember that both Kumo and Iwa have continued to militarize their forces after the Third Shinobi War. In addition, they also have 2 fully realized Jinchuriki apiece, making it so that while we are at a decent position overall in terms of powerful warriors, we are also at a dangerous place within the 5 villages as well. Seeing as how the very moment either one of them gets a wild hair up their ass about wanting to change their position, then we risk being in a very, very dangerous position that could spell disaster. Dan spoke, his voice changing from its normally jovial tone to a more serious and pensive one. That's pretty intense, Grandpa. Anything we can do to make sure nothing like that pops off? Naruto questioned.
At the given moment there isn't much that can be done. For now, all we can do is await whatever shall come next, and prepare ourselves. Because, I have no doubt that eventually we will be forced to take up arms against Iwa or Kumo once again, Dan told his grandson in all but blood.
Well, I guess I know what I have to look forward to when I get my headband, Naruto said in knowing he'd have an eventful future ahead. Relax, Naruto. What I speak of is only one possibility of what is to come. One that at the given moment is an unlikely chance to happen, so for now, I say focus on the good things in life, not the bad. Because if you only focus on that, then your life will turn out as horrible as Jiraiya's chances with women, Dan replied, his voice going back to his jovial tone, getting a chortle from Naruto. Grandpa, I'm pretty sure anyone has better chances with women than him, Naruto said back. You definitely aren't far from the truth, young man. Although, with his track record, I also wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have a small army of illegitimate children out there, Dan spoke. How much you want to bet that when I get my headband, I'll find one of his kids, or even one of his baby mamas? Naruto questioned. If that happens, I'll give you 1,000 for each one you manage to find. Hell, I'll give you 10,000 if you can get them to kick in the family jewels for me. The man deserves a comeuppance for all the stuff he's pulled, Dan answered back, getting a chuckle out of Naruto. You're preaching to the choir on that one. It's because of him spouting off about that B.S. prophecy of his, that I got phased out of my own family. I'm not even the heir to my own family legacy even more, even though I was the firstborn of us, and now we're at the point that I'm pretty much a stranger at my own home. All on top of having dickhead siblings who think that they're the chosen ones, and that it gives them license to do whatever they want and walk over everyone they can. Naruto replied. At this point, I'm pretty sure, moving in with Sakura and her folks isn't such a bad idea. Plus, I'll get to train up with super assassins and be around her fine-ass auntie. Naruto said more to himself. And are you angry at your parents for what they've done? Dan questioned. Not really. I mean, I can't really say I blame them for putting priority in the twins versus myself. Since they're supposed to be our village's ace in the hole against everyone else. So I understand why they have to take precedence over me, as if they didn't then we'd have some weak-ass trump cards in our pocket for when people like Iwa come knocking at our door. Naruto responded knowing full well of things in concerns to being a Jinchuriki. However, the whole not even helping me to even be good at something since I can't really do ninjutsu, or even all that good at seals, hell, my own mom would help me at least know how to wield a sword. It's only thanks to the Uchihas and Granny that they stopped them from not letting me attend the academy, because of my condition.
On top of getting my status as heir to what my family has taken from me, so am I angry at them for all this crap? Not really. Do I care about them anymore? To be honest with you, Grandpa, the only thing I really can do with them is just nothing them, as how to love people who are just strangers in your own life. Naruto added over how he felt toward his parents overall.
I see, in that case, I'll continue to tell you what Tsunade and I have told our own children, when things have been rough. Keep your head up, keep moving forward and no matter what never look back. Dan said to the younger blonde. Thanks, Grandpa. But to be honest, I'm not even worried about them. Right now, I'm just worried about making sure I get that headband next year. Squad up with Sasuke and Sakura with a badass Jonin sensei. Then make it to Chunin and then from there, become awesome like you and Grandma. Naruto told him. Speaking of Jonin senseis, I think that now would be as good a time as any to mention that Kazushi is applying to be a Jonin sensei. Dan informed his grandson. Wait really? Of all people to do that, I didn't think she'd go for being one. Naruto said in a mix of confusion and surprise. Neither did we when she first told us. However, she wanted to and in her own words, make my own team of duck-mothering menaces to bully the rest of these little shits, since I want everyone to know that I can make anyone a badass. Or something to that effect. Dan replied. Honestly, I never would have thought that in 100 years that she of all people would aspire to be one. However, after I and Tsunade talked to her about it, she was dead set on making it happen. Since she figures that if people like Kakashi and Kurenai can do it, then so can she. Dan added. I mean, can you really blame her for thinking that? Since Kurenai ain't shit, since we have 1 or 2 clans that can do genjutsu better than her. Then there's Kakashi, who I'll give credit for being pretty good at what he does, but as a teacher, yeah, that guy really ain't it. Naruto replied knowing full well that those two really weren't it when it came to being senseis. While I'm not going to comment on their teaching abilities, what I will say is that I am certainly interested to see how Kazushi fares as a sensei, Dan said. I'm sure she's gonna do fine, Grandpa. I mean if she can be an S-ranked menace, then I'm pretty sure she'll be fine as a sensei, Naruto said back. I hope so, as it isn't her I'm worried about. So much as it is the poor souls who will be her students. My daughter, as you know, is a firm believer in the sink or swim way of doing things, and considering how intense she liked to get, I can only hope that whoever she has will be prepared for the worst. Dan spoke. What with Kazushi's preferences being either that you either get good or bitch out, and her seeing that the best way to get anything out of anyone or herself was to put yourself through a meat grinder, then Dan knew for a fact that those who became her genin wards weren't gonna have it easy. Well, that's a problem for whoever gets stuck with her. In the meantime, I'm just gonna enjoy hanging out with my friends, training with them, and just being with my kick-ass grandparents, Naruto said to the retired Jonin. Fair enough I suppose. That being said, how about I make us something to eat for dinner? Tsunade and Lyoto should be coming home soon. So how about helping me out with it? Dan asked of the enhanced blonde. Sure. Why not, Grandpa? Naruto said with a shrug before the two headed inside to get started. Also, I wonder what the odds are of me getting her as my sensei. Probably slim to none. If Mom and Dad have their way about it, they'll try and stick me with Kakashi's punk ass. Or worse, Mom is gonna try and make herself be my sensei. Naruto said to himself in dreading the idea of having either one be his sensei. Chapter 2. Just another day with superpowers. It was a little over a month since Naruto had gained his powers from Arceus, and in that time he'd mainly spent it honing, training with them with Sakura and Sasuke, which worked out wonders for him overall. Considering that with Sakura he got to perfect his at close quarters combat, while with Sasuke the two would use Naruto's teleport move to sneak into the Forest of Death and fight the large, mutated animals within it, to both hone their combative skills, and just work on Naruto's powers on live targets. Yet it was during all of this that Naruto had also taken to using his powers to make avoiding any time with his family far more effective, seeing as how he could just go across the village at any time he wanted, and no one could stop him, not to mention it made doing any side jobs he wanted far more efficient than running around with his head cut off. May 9, 997 SE, 5, 48 petameters, Forest of Death. It was 12 minutes till 6 in the evening as Naruto and Sasuke had finished killing yet another creature within the depths of the Forest of Death, with the smell of burnt flesh and ozone being present as they stood atop their kill. If there's one thing I'll give you credit for, it's being an ace with a sword. Because hot damn, you sliced this thing's shit up, like it was nothing. Naruto remarked at the grizzly bear-sized praying mantis that had been viciously dismembered by said Uchiha. Given that it was made easier with those fire attacks of yours, I'd say that this was yet again another well-done team effort. Sasuke noted over the various scorch marks in the burnt flesh of said giant insect. By the way, how did you know that it was weak to incendiary attacks? Sasuke questioned. I honestly didn't. I just figured. Duck it set the giant insect monster on fire, turns out it worked. Naruto answered back with a shrug of his shoulders. Luckily, your instincts were right concerning the giant mantis we've just killed. Otherwise, it would have been far more difficult to deal with, Sasuke remarked. Fair point, my guy. So do you think you got enough in the gas tank for another go around, or do you want to call it quits here? Naruto asked the Uchiha. I have enough energy to take on another monstrosity, do you? Sasuke asked back. I've got more than plenty. Naruto answered back ready to go. Then let us get to it, then. We're burning daylight. Sasuke replied as he stood himself up before sheathing his sword and heading off with Naruto. Then from there, the two went on the search for their next creature to test their might against, dashing like jaguars hunting for their next prey, while keeping an eye for any creature that could come out of the woodwork to ambush them. Something that took the duo not even 10 minutes before they found their target in the form of a large nearly 10-foot tall black bear that had been mutated by the Nine Tails chakra, evident by its bright ruby-red eyes, greatly defined musculature, its face having partially warped to be more fox-like, and its maw of sharpened teeth that were feeding off the carcass of a freshly killed dire wolf. Naruto meanwhile used bulk up while Sasuke began to quickly sneak around to the opposite side of the area to better flank the mutant black bear while it fed. With Naruto quickly using a second bulk up before he channeled his increased strength into jumping high into the air, and curling in on himself as though he were about to cannonball into the ground, only much more on fire as he burst into a human pinwheel of flames, as he struck true with a flame wheel attack that struck it so forcefully in the back, that it was sent face first into a nearby tree hard enough that its skull nearly went through the trunk. The mutant bear was sent further into the tree trunk as Naruto Donkey punched in the back of the head via brick break, all the while Sasuke had swiftly dashed forward to deliver a flurry of lightning-quick jabs with his Jien, leaving a small handful of gashes and punctures in its right hind leg. All the while Sasuke had to quickly backflip out of the way as the massive bear wrenched its face free from the tree, before going to strike at the Uchiha with both of its massive paws. However, it never came as Naruto used Protect on Sasuke to shield him from the attack, causing the bear's large paws to bounce off a bright neon orange spiral-shaped barrier, the large ursine roaring as it tried to paw and chomp down on the barrier but to no avail, as neither of its attacks made so much as a single dent in its surface. Meanwhile, Naruto was quick to leap into action with a thunder punch to its furry abdomen, causing bolts of lightning to arc across its broad and heavy-set form, as it bellowed and roared back from the attack, leaving Sasuke able to use his great speed to rush around the bear and land a sword thrust to its left thigh. Sasuke then used the leverage of having slashed upwards with his sword to leap up and nimby land between its shoulder blades, and began stabbing and thrusting his blade into its heavily muscled form, causing it to further roar and bellow out in pain as it felt steel pierce through its furred hide. All the while it was having to continue and battle against Naruto, who had boosted his speed with agility, was striking out against it with a combination of Mach and Thunder punches that thudded against it with the cadence of a sprinting cheetah that was given PCP. The black bear, on the other hand, was roaring and thrashing about in anger. Between being furiously stabbed by Sasuke's blade, and trying to reach behind itself to tear the nimble Uchiha off its bloodying back to no avail, who was able to swiftly dodge its attempts by a little over a hair's breadth each time, and Naruto's constant onslaught of blows that both pummeled into and electrocuted its abdomen, it did the only thing it knew would get rid of its assailants, and that was gather up the foul chakra that had suffused its large frame and unleash a deafening roar of great force that blasted Sasuke off of it, and Naruto some 50 feet away from its form. Luckily, for the careening Uchiha, Naruto was able to use teleport to send himself to Sasuke and teleport themselves a considerable distance away from the large ursine creature who roared at them both, before charging at them. The duo briefly looked at each other before Sasuke went through hand signs and Naruto began using charge as much as he could as the black bear gained ground toward them ever faster. Fire release. Dragon Flame Jutsu, Sasuke exclaimed as he exhaled a narrow stream of flames toward the bear. Naruto followed suit and unleashed an amplified thunderbolt in conjunction with Sasuke's fire jutsu, with the lightning having turned pumpkin orange in color as it joined with Sasuke's jutsu to form an electrified stream of flame and fire that barreled towards the ursine creature in question. The combined attack punched into the beast with great force, before subsequently exploding on contact with a mighty THOOOOMMM that shook the ground around them, forcing Naruto to use Protect once more to protect them from the fiery debris that came flying their way from the intense explosion. The smoke and flames eventually cleared to reveal the heavily burnt albeit still alive mutant black bear that was haggardly lumbering towards them with heavy second-degree burns across its body, a fourth of the flesh on its skull scorched away, and patches of scorched flesh and muscle revealed as it shakily hobbled, lumbered towards them. With Sasuke and Naruto briefly exchanged looks with each other before nodding, as Sasuke pumped a large amount of chakra into his legs before rushing forwards in a blur of motion towards the bear and Naruto using teleport to appear a few feet above the beast in question. The superhuman blonde's hands glowed a vibrant neon orange as they turned into wicked-looking claws as he used slash to carve 4 deep furrows through its flesh, and into its skull, causing it to bellow and roar in pain from the deep wounds inflicted upon its face. However, it didn't have to worry about them for too much longer, as not even seconds after Naruto had landed his attack, Sasuke blade cleaved through thick sinuous muscle and bone to sever the bear's head from its body at the middle of its thick neck, the massive skull thudding and rolling across the ground. That takes care of that. An awesome job on getting the finishing blow, Sasuke. I knew you were a speedy bastard, but damn, that was fast, Naruto said to the Uchiha, who gave him a small smirk. Of course. However, our joint attack was what truly sealed the beast's fate against us. Without that, our fight would have taken significantly longer to accomplish, Sasuke responded as he looked over at the bear's headless corpse. That just means we're awesome together. If we took down a mutant bear together. Anyways, how about we get out of here and head back to your place for dinner? All this beast slaying is making me super hungry, Naruto said whilst his stomach rumbled in agreement. I'm getting hungry as well. Take us away from here, Naruto, Sasuke said back as he grabbed onto Naruto's shoulder. Aye, Captain. Just hold on, Naruto told the Uchiha. From there the two vanished out of sight without a trace left behind in their wake, or so they thought, as none other than Mizuki, who was on patrols in making sure that none of the beasts in the Forest of Death that had been mutated by the Nine Tails chakra had escaped its confines, only for him to be given a first-row seat to having witnessed Naruto and Sasuke not only fight against a mutated beast, but come out on top with the blonde in question having displayed powers that didn't belong to someone who was unable to mold chakra in any capacity. Now this is gonna make for one hell of a report, Mizuki said as he quickly rushed off to report what he'd just witnessed. The next morning, May 10, 996 SE, Route HQ, 9:45 am. It was the following morning as Mizuki was giving the report of what he had prior witnessed to none other than the leader of Root himself, who was listening to all of it in rapt attention. That is all of what happened, Lord Danzo. Both Naruto and Sasuke had vanished into thin air after they defeated the chakra mutant. Mizuki informed the Warhawk. And you are positive that there wasn't any chakra in any of Naruto Uzumaki's attacks against it? Danzo questioned, his ever-scrutinizing gaze searching for any falsities in Mizuki's words. I am not making this up at all. I didn't sense or feel any chakra coming from him. When he used an attack against it, it was all purely on his own power. I don't know how he was able to do it, but I saw him make flames and lightning without any hand signs, or any chakra at all. I honestly don't know how else to explain it. Mizuki answered back, still flabbergasted at what he'd witnessed the previous evening. This is most certainly interesting news you've brought me, Mizuki. The fact that Minato's child was able to produce such things without the use of chakra is certainly an intriguing development, Danzo replied. Tell me, has he displayed any other abilities beyond that? Danzo further questioned. To my knowledge, he has not. Other than teleportation, and being able to summon fire, lightning and a strange barrier to protect himself and others, I don't know what else he can do. Mizuki said back to everything he knew to his present knowledge. This definitely presents a rather unique opportunity. I doubt that Minato or Jiraiya knows of his abilities yet. Otherwise they would have done something about it. More than likely try to convince him to join them in their lost cause for widespread peace amongst the nations. Danzo spoke. So what do you want me to do about this, Lord Danzo? Mizuki asked. For now, I want you to keep an eye on Naruto. After all, he trusts you as a teacher, does he not? Danzo told the white-haired Chunin. He does, trust me. It isn't a competition between who he likes the most as his favorite sensei, at the academy. Mizuki said to the Warhawk with a confident smirk. Good to know. I want you to continue gaining his trust, get to know him and more about his abilities as best you can. Then if the opportunity presents itself, convince him to join our cause. Danzo instructed of the Chunin. I will try my best to do so, Lord Danzo. However, this will take a large amount of time to make possible, as convincing someone to join Root right out the gate isn't exactly an easy sell. Mizuki replied, knowing that the endeavor was going to take an extensive period of time. It shouldn't be that hard to do, given the circumstances of his personal life. The young man wishes for greatness, to prove himself on equal if not greater standing than his siblings, and show that his parents were foolish for taking such stock in the prophecy from what my agents tell me. Therefore, given these factors and additional ones they may appear over time, I am positive that he will join our side. Danzo spoke back with full certainty in his voice. For Danzo knew that Naruto's desire to prove himself and show himself as equal to if not greater than his twin siblings, among other such driving factors in his life, the Warhawk knew that with Mizuki acting as his guiding hand that it would ensure Naruto's service within Root. And what if he refuses to join? Then what do we do? Mizuki asked the Warhawk. Then we will do nothing else. If we attempt to force him to join against his will, then we risk not only Minato coming down us all, but also the Senjus, the Uchihas, Kushina and Jiraiya himself. That is a force that despite how far we have stretched ourselves out across the village, and the nations themselves, they are still a threat we cannot take head-on. To do so would be suicide. Danzo answered back. Understood, Lord Danzo. Mizuki replied, nevertheless, is there anything else you wish to report? Danzo questioned. Not at the moment. No, the fox brats still while a pair of arrogant, annoying, blood pressure-raising jackasses. They still remain loyal to the village, and thus far haven't shown any signs of corruption from the Nine Tails. Mizuki answered back. That is good to hear, Mizuki. While I trust in Minato's sealing abilities, the nine-tailed fox is still a cunning and conniving creature that shouldn't be trifled with. So while its power may be sealed away, its ability to manipulate and control others is not. Danzo said in recognizing the Nine Tails as a credible threat regardless of its current state of being. Do you think it could get them to undo its seal? Mizuki questioned. There is a possibility for that, no doubt. However, given the fact that Minato and Jiraiya have over the years installed a number of fail-safes to prevent its escape, we must also take into account that it has studied the seal that has become its prison, and has been planning ways in which to undo it, or find ways around it. As such, while it is a possibility that it could manipulate them, there is also far graver things than its release to worry about. Danzo answered back. Therefore, I have some of our operatives around the clock monitoring them. We have already suffered from the attack of a nine-tails that was driven berserk by an unknown force. Imagine what it will be like this time, when it is fully cognizant and desires vengeance for having its freedom be denied for a third time. Danzo queried the white-haired Chunin.
We cannot let another nine-tails attack happen. I refuse to go through another night like that again. Whatever it is you need me to do, to make sure those brats don't bring an apocalypse down on us, just say the word and I'll do it. Mizuki answered back as the moment his mind created such a possible event, his body almost shuddered at the possibility of a far worse version of the nine-tails attack.
Understand that when and if things progress to the point where they have become pawns of the nine-tails, that you will be the first to know, Danzo told Mizuki. In the meantime, keep an eye on Naruto Uzumaki, and continue your duties as normal, Danzo ordered. As you wish, Lord Danzo, Mizuki said before bowing and soon leaving the office of the Warhawk. If I am to play my cards right, then perhaps, Root will have a contingency plan in place should Minato's children go awry with the nine-tails. After all, it never hurts to have a plan B in place should Minato and Jiraiya fall or become unable to get the job done. Danzo said to himself, intrigued by Naruto's potential capabilities. 2 days later, Training Ground 7, May 12, 996 SE, 4:35 p.m. It was a few days later as Naruto and Sakura had decided to relax after one of their sparring matches, and just chill with one another. So how's learning that whatever style your cousin Raien's friend has been helping you out with? Naruto questioned his longtime friend. Oh, you mean my learning the Nico style? It's been going pretty good. I've finally nailed one of the katas to a T. Sakura said back with a proud smile. Really? That's cool. Naruto said, happy for the pink-haired teen. Trust me, it's pretty cool too. I just need to work on fire and water katas, since they've got real cool stuff I want to finish learning. Sakura replied, keen to continue her lessons in learning more of the Nico style. If I can combine it with my cousin's techniques, then I can be even more of a menace and stomp the shit out of anyone who crosses me. Oh man, Ino pig, that Hyuga dipshit and your bitch sister won't see what I do to them coming. Sakura added with a monstrous grin. Hey, if you can make that happen then go for it. Since let's be real, all three of them are different levels of ain't shit, Naruto said.
Ino acts like she's all that in a bag of chips, just because she's attractive, and meanwhile IIS about as great to deal with as a cactus enema. Hinata is an almost spineless wallflower who has the confidence of an anorexic Akamichi, on top of being my sister's yes woman. Then my sister on the other hand, now that's an entire other bag of worms altogether. Seriously, if I were to rag on her as much as I wanted to, we'd be here all day. Naruto listed off at the infernal trio of ain't shit.
Yeah, I swear Hinata's gonna get obliterated being around your sister. She's either gonna get herself into something she has no business in, or that skank you call your sister is gonna get her in over her head. Sakura said in regards to the lackey of Naruto's sister. Probably, both. Because if there's anyone who can't say no, it's Hinata. It's almost like she's allergic to saying it, Naruto replied. Then again, with how much a queen bee Mizore is, then you can't really blame someone like Hinata for doing as she tells her, as we've all seen how she gets when she doesn't get what she wants. Naruto remarked over her rather prominent temper when she didn't get her way. Your brother and Mizore don't know how to take no for an answer, or learn to take a loss. I mean seriously, they get angry over that stuff when it ain't that deep. My mom and my folks tell me no, and I'm throwing a temper tantrum over it, Sakura replied. I swear they shouldn't be called the chosen ones like they think, more like the chosen overgrown babies, because dear God, for the two who are supposed to be the best in our class. Watching them throw tantrums when they can't get their way either in class or when they duck up, or don't get a present they want, it's a bunch of bullshit. Sakura added in disgust of the attitude of Naruto's siblings. As far as Sakura saw it, instead of them being prophesied chosen ones who were being trained as the guardians of the village, especially when one of them proclaimed to soon be the 5th Hokage after their father. To her they were a bunch of overgrown, egotistical, pompous jackasses, that were gonna get themselves or their teammates killed one of these days, Even more so when their classmates couldn't do too much to them given the fact that they had a whole ass-tailed beast to juice them up, or that was their being trained by some of the most powerful shinobi in the village put them in a high enough weight class, that given their natures, retaliation wasn't an option that was viable. Hey, you're preaching to the choir on that one. I swear having to live with them is a nightmare and a half, the rare few times you try to do something that shows you're even close to their level, and they throw a hissy fit about it. God forbid the one time I actually beat Toshiro in something and he messed me up real bad. Naruto said, rubbing his left side absent-mindedly. Do you ever think about telling them about what happened? They'd probably understand that they've been doing shit wrong, if you told them about what he did to you. Sakura asked. I doubt it, to be honest with you. Pervy Sage has them so wrapped up in this prophecy business, that I doubt it'd do any difference, was Naruto's almost melancholic and sobering answer. But enough about my brother and sister being giant assholes. Let's talk more on how you're crushing it with your training. That plus you lookin' swole shit by the way. Naruto said with a look that Sakura knew too well when it came on the subject of his siblings. Yeah. Well, first of all thanks for noticing, since doing strength training with Ryan and Kurora hasn't been easy. Those two are monsters. Sakura said back. Considering you do this stuff with the two people in your clan who has nicknames like the Devil of the Cure clan, and the Succubus, I say that you're getting what you bargained for. Plus did you really expect anything else from them? Naruto spoke as Sakura went to open her mouth for a retort. But, damn it you're right, duck. Sakura stammered out before cursing. Of course I am, but anyways, Sakura. At the rate you're going, I'm pretty sure that you could take on anyone, heck. I'm pretty sure that you could take on that Neji guy. Hinata's related too. Naruto said while Sakura had a pugnacious grin come across her face at that. Oh please, Naruto. I know I can take him on in a scrap. It's a big reason why I'm focused on getting the Flame Kata down next. Because I really want to punish them every time he tries his gentle fist crap. Then I can hit him with some of the cure stuff and my adamantine shit. Sakura said back in complete confidence of herself. How bad do you think he'd take it when he realizes that he got his shit rocked by you of all people? Naruto questioned. He and that Tenten girl will probably have an aneurysm that an Uchiha fangirl rocked his shit faster than Lord Jiraiya could write his next issue of Smut. Sakura answered back. By the way, I still can't believe we came up with that as part of your cover for our plan, by the way. Sorry you have to act like such a total numbnuts in class. Naruto spoke, still surprised at how they came up with said plan. Oh no, it's all good my man. Plus, it isn't the worst thing we could have come up with. Besides, it isn't that hard to make work. After all, I just gotta wear some weights that I hide under my clothes to slow me down, and use the transformation jutsu to hide my muscles, and act like a less bitchy Ino. Sakura replied in having not seen her act as all that bad. Plus it'll be all worth it when you, Sasuke, and I earn our headbands, and get to be on a squad together, then we can start kicking ass, taking names and doing whatever we want, Sakura added. I think the whole doing what we want will come a lot easier once we make Chunin and above, Naruto told her. You get what I mean, Sakura said back with a roll of her eyes. I know, but hey. Once we get our sensei and squad together, then we can put all our shit together, and I can use my new superpowers to wreck shop with you and Sasuke, Naruto spoke. I don't doubt that we will. In the meantime, you wanna get baked? Sakura asked as she pulled out of her satchel a few blunts and her pocket lighter. Say less, Sakura. Let's light up. Naruto answered back with a grin as he took a blunt from her. 3 days later, Akamichi Barbecue, 2, 10 petameters, May 12, 996 SE. It was soon a sunny Sunday afternoon as Naruto and Sasuke were eating out at the Akamichi barbecue, and just generally talking it out amongst themselves over things. By the way, Naruto. Thanks again for helping me copy that jutsu. That teleportation ability of yours is certainly useful. Sasuke thanked the blonde. Not a problem, man. I mean it's not like Kakashi's gonna be busting out that Chidori of his anytime soon. I mean from what I've heard, it's been a hot minute since he's used it. Naruto replied as he took another bite out of his pulled pork. So if anything, I say that jutsu is gonna be in a lot better hands with you, my guy. Naruto added as Sasuke smirked at having added such a powerful jutsu to his arsenal. I have no doubt it will be. Especially for the fact that once I gain a better comprehension of how to use it, and incorporate it into my repertoire, then I can begin working on branching it out further, to make it an even better tool for exterminating our enemies. Sasuke told the enhanced blonde. Sweet. You got any ideas on how to take it to another level? Naruto questioned. I have one idea, but it isn't anything too special. Sasuke told the enhanced blonde. Hey, if you're trying to ramp up what an A-rank jutsu can already do, then it's gotta be something special. Naruto said back, in having thought that what Sasuke was doing was rather awesome. Alright, fine. It involves me manipulating the shape of the Chidori along the length of sword, or my hand, and turning it into a spear to impale people from a distance. Granted, it's something that still needs to be put into practice, before it is applicable. However, if I am able to make this technique combat ready, then I will have an even more efficient method of killing from a distance. Sasuke explained as to what his current plan was for the Chidori after he got used to it. Shit, man, that sounds pretty awesome. Good luck with getting that in the regular-ass Chidori all figured out. Naruto said to the Uchiha. Thanks, I'm going to need it, if I want to have something to help me stand out from my future teammates, Sasuke said back. Between Sakura being trained by her cousins who are from a clan of super assassins, then there's you who has been gifted superpowers by a god or some higher form of life, therefore, I have to do everything possible in my power to make sure I can stand on equal footing with either of you. Sasuke added in knowing that he needed to do everything possible to make himself stand beside his friends as an equal in strength and capability. Dude, you're one of the best swordsmen I know, and someone who can put Mizor through the paces in a straight sword fight. You're also smart as a whip, and next to Shikamaru as one of the smartest in our class. On top of that, you got one of the most busted eye-based bloodlines in the village. So if anything, I say that you're already on an equal playing field with Sakura, and I hell if had to say anything, I'd say that if there's anyone I trust to lead me when and if we go on a mission together, then it's you, because Sakura'd rather get down and dirty in a scrap, and I'm just happy to freeball it and see what happens. Which is why we need someone with their head on straight, like you. Naruto said to the Uchiha. Since he saw Sasuke as not only a great swordsman and someone who was very much capable with the Sharingan and ninjutsu overall, but also someone who he trusted completely to be a leader when they became genin together. Seeing as how between Sakura, himself and Sasuke, he knew that the Uchiha was the only one out of all three that wasn't a chaotic jackass, and someone who could keep them organized and come up with a plan to get the job done. I appreciate the kind words, Naruto, although, someone does have to make sure that the two of you won't get in over your heads. I swear that both of you are a pair of walking disasters. Sasuke thanked Naruto while acknowledging the pure chaos that was both him and Sakura. Hey, I can't help that things just happen when Sakura and I are together. It just happens to be that they revolve around violence. Naruto answered back. How it is that either of you haven't gotten into trouble for beating someone into a pulp yet, is beyond me. Sasuke wondered. Hey, I don't really do all that stuff. That's Sakura's department, since she's the ducking smoke demon out of all three of us. Naruto replied in regards to Sakura's love of fighting, hyper-violence. Considering what the other half of her family is like, I'm convinced that hyper-violence is genetic with them. Sasuke said back as Naruto chuckled at that. Considering just what her cousins are like, it definitely is. Even if it wasn't, Sakura would still be a menace for the fact that she just likes to hurt and fight people in general, being around a clan of violent super assassins, especially when one of them is a crazy strong psycho, will do that to you. Naruto spoke. Pretty sure it's why if they give her nickname, it'd be the Berserker. Naruto remarked to himself. That's fair. Although, I almost feel sorry for whoever our sensei will be in that regard. They'll have to put up with Sakura, a punch-happy battle maniac, you a super-powered chaos gremlin, and myself. And I don't even know what I am with you two in the mix. Sasuke replied. I am so not a chaos gremlin. Naruto said back in faux offense. You literally used your psychic powers on the Inuzuka clan's dogs last week. To see it, you could make a dog stampede happen. Sasuke reminded the blonde in question. Well, yeah. How else am I supposed to figure out what my mind powers can do? Also, it only half worked, as my range really sucks to try and do big scale things like that. Naruto said in disappointment of not being able to cause the stampede he wanted. Yet you still managed to cause a frenzy to happen at their kennels. Kiba's still having to clean up the mess that was left there. I honestly can't blame him OFR having to clean up the horror show you caused. Sasuke responded in feeling sorry that Kiba had to help clean up shit, piss, broken equipment, fur and other such things. The only thing I regret is that I couldn't make that shit even bigger. Maybe when I get really good, I should try it out on the deers at the Nara place. Really give those lazy bums something troublesome to worry about. Naruto said with a sinister chortle. I don't know which is going to be worse to deal with when we become a squad. Sakura being a hyperviolent smoke demon as you put it, are you being a superpowered chaos gremlin? Sasuke wondered. Probably me, if anything. Because as they say, variety is the spice of life, and your boy over here has that in spades. Naruto said in full acknowledgement of all the potential bedlam he could cause. You know you are not helping your case, by admitting to you being a chaotic menace. You know that, right? Sasuke asked his longtime friend. I know and I don't care. All I know is that I've got powers and I'm gonna do whatever I want with them. Naruto said as a devious grin spread across his face. Should I even want to know about half of what goes on in your head? Sasuke said as he finished eating his steak. It's better if you don't. Otherwise, you'd give yourself migraine after migraine from having to deal with my shenanigans, Naruto told the Uchiha. Fair enough. However, I do ask that you not take your shenanigans within radius of my clan. They haven't done anything to warrant your attention, except for Itachi. He out of everyone else is free game in my opinion. Sasuke requested from the enhanced blonde. Oh, don't worry, I'd never go after you guys. If anything, you and your folks are on my do not FFDUK with list. Naruto said back, getting a curious look from Sasuke. Wait a minute. You actually have a list for people you target for you shenanigans? Sasuke questioned. Yup. And on that list it's you. Everyone in the Uchiha clan minus Itachi, since he's a workaholic asshat. Sakura and her family, Choji and the Akamichi clan, Granny Tsunade, Grandpa Dan and my cousins, Mizuki-sensei, and cousin Shizune, Enko's fine ass, and that's about it. Everyone else is fair game. Naruto said as he listed off everyone that was on his checklist of people not to mess with. At least I'm on that list, otherwise I'd shudder to think of what you'd do if I wasn't. Sasuke said in relief of being on that list. Trust me, Sasuke. If you weren't on it, you'd know, Naruto told him in all too jovial tone of voice. Good to know. Anyways, is there anything else you have planned for today? Sasuke questioned. Other than some stuff Sakura is gonna help me out with, then not really. Today was just me having a do-nothing day to myself. Naruto told him. Why do you ask? Did you want to do anything else, other than have lunch? Naruto questioned Sasuke. No, I just wanted to ask was all. Sasuke replied, alright, well if that's that then. I guess I'll see you later if you don't want to do anything else. Naruto said as he got up from his seat and left his and Sasuke's payment on the table. I'm fine. I need to head back anyways. Sasuke said knowing it was his turn to help with babysitting Izumi's kids. Fair enough. Later. Naruto said before he and Sasuke headed off on their separate ways. The end. Thank you for watching.